been excited about environics analytics that you've submitted a CV to that company? No. Okay, because they have a booming business. Anyway, okay, so let's log in Vision 5 and usernames and passwords.
You forgot to click it, Professor.
Sorry.
You didn't click.
Oh, thank you. Okay, there you go. Keep me honest. All right, so this is what you see when you come to the page. And we're going to do a trade area analysis. Okay, so what this means is we're going to take a particular trading area with the parameters that I've given you, and you're going to compare that with the city of Ottawa. So they're all business locations inside the city of Ottawa. So we'll click on trade area analysis, and then we'll go down to create area map. Okay, create area map. Now there are two things you can do here. Okay, one is you can go to choose an area here, sort of like this, and just click on a point like here. That point, wherever that point is, I'm not sure, it's somewhere in downtown Toronto. And you can draw a polygon around anyway, there's one, okay. You can choose an area type, you can draw a distance around here, kilometers, 5 kilometers, and you create. What this does here is it creates a 5 kilometer radius around that. What this does is from that point you can do a 5 kilometer radius around there. So that would be as the crow flies in terms of absolute distance. Or you can choose in terms of time. You can choose any one of drive time, peak, that's sort of 4 to 6 in the afternoon, or 7 to 9 in the morning. Drive time, which is much, it's going to give you a much larger trading area, or walking, or drive time off peak, which is between peak and night. So why don't we do a 5 minutes of drive time, and then it could be 15 minutes of drive time. You know, in Toronto, it takes forever, right? There's 15 minutes from your point in the downtown Toronto. You can do all those wonderful things. Okay, so the other kind of area map is where you are given an address, and you need the postal code. So I should add here as well, this is downtown Toronto, we're doing Ottawa, so you could go up to Ottawa like this, right, and choose the location in Ottawa. And that, right. This is the most desirable area in Ottawa right here. This is that's the Canadian Tire Center. Anyway, okay, so that's area. That's by using the map. But you can also do address. So you have to specify the address here. So we have that's an address, and there's the city, and there's the province. And the postal code. So this is instead of map, the other one was map click, this is geocode. So we're sitting in downtown Toronto, waiting for and there we are. Just so you know where you are. There's us in Woodruff, and we're out here and to the west of Ottawa. Right there, that's 705 Beaver Tail Road. So I'm going to start an archery club. There is an archery club near there. And so we think that people will only drive 10 minutes to get to the archery club off-peak. So why don't we give ourselves off-peak, people shoot their bows and arrows off-peak. So we'll give ourselves about 20 minutes. So okay, so that's a huge area that we're attracting. This is 20 minutes driving time from this particular location. So we want to have a name for it, so we'll call it the Archery Club. Archery Club. And we will save that. Okay, so we now have an archery club. And okay, then the next thing to do is the benchmark. We want to create a benchmark. We want to create a benchmark we're going to choose a standard area. We could draw your own. No, we'll create a standard geo list here. A standard geo list. So here we are. You can compare your area with the whole of Canada, a province, and it could be any one of our provinces. Ontario is what we're going to choose. We could choose Ontario. It's our own province. We could choose. We could choose a census division. Census division. Again, look at these are all the census divisions. The census divisions are essentially big cities and counties, such as We have here Ottawa. We have Toronto, and also the counties of Ontario. So we can compare your benchmark with the counties. You can compare, you can do a census subdivision. Census subdivision. You can compare, if you're doing political marketing, you can do a federal electoral district. If your candidate is running, or the census metropolitan area. And we have all the different census metropolitan areas of Ontario here. You could do Ottawa. We could do Ottawa-Gatineau, which is a combination of Ottawa and the Quebec suburbs. And we could do forward sortation areas. What's a forward sortation area? It's the first three digits of your postal code. For instance, here is KOA. That would be the postal code of that area I just identified. So there are all kinds of permutations and computations. The regions, there are 6 regions in our country. You can compare by region. You could also, as I said, you could, as a benchmark, you could also identify another area. You could compare this rural area outside Ottawa with a place in downtown Toronto. Which at 33 Bloor Street East is in fact the headquarters of environics. Choose area type. So we want to do a distance, a linear distance of 1 kilometer. That's probably a lot of people. Oh. They're going to ask me for the locations. Okay, so we choose, these are the geographic areas. All right, so let's choose, create a standard geographic list. We will choose, census division. We'll choose the city of Ottawa. Okay. Save, to save. Okay. Next step. City of Ottawa. Okay. So we have here now. Okay. So you can choose. You can do the profile of your trading area. Which just is the profile. Let's do the city of Ottawa. Sorry, no, we'll do our archery club. And that is the profile of that's the profile of our archery club. And we'll compare that with the city of Ottawa. And so we'll do Prism 5. Total population. Dashboard name, archery club. And we go here, and now we're creating a dashboard for us. Okay. And okay, take a look at our dashboard, and this is what your dashboard looks like. And so what this tells you is, in comparison to the rest of the city, the archery club, these are the kinds of people that live in your archery club. Okay? There are people like our time, Second City retirees, Asian sophisticates, suburban scramble, trucks and trades. So we have all these different people here within a 20-minute drive time of our, okay, now, the ranking variables. The trade area. These are your demographics. Okay, so we want to compare the demographics of our archery club, 20-minute drive time from 705 Beavertail Road, with the city of Ottawa. So here's the city of Ottawa, and the data source will be what they call Census Plus. Okay, so if you wanted to do a forecast of your area, you have demo stats to 2028. If you want to do a you want to see what your area looks like in 2028, you choose demo stats. But right now, we're choosing just Census Plus. Okay, Census Plus, and we're going to do the archery club 2. Okay, so we're going to create a dashboard. This is a report on this area that you've selected. It tells you all the people that live there, and all the population parameters, the population, age 15 to 19, everything, males, females, the type of dwellings. For instance, if you're in the gardening business or you have a hardware store, the structure type, how many single detached houses there are in the area, how many households there are by size, the household population, the marital status, the type of families that live there, the number of children at home, mother tongue, English, French, and all the other different languages that you could imagine. Lots of languages. The language spoken at home. There's a difference here. Okay, here we are, mother tongue and language spoken at home. What's the difference between mother tongue and language spoken at home? What's the difference?
Mother tongue is like what you're born.
It's identified the language you first learned as a child, and you still speak. So my mother tongue is French, but I now speak English at home. So I'm one of those people that the mother tongue is French, but the language at home is English. The total income for instance, here's your total income. Total income. Better to be just keep, if I've asked you for income, better to keep it here, total income current year, because after tax becomes more complicated. Type of period, by period of construction, I don't think any of you have to worry about that. Household by maintainer age, that's the person who's described in the census, the person who identifies as the head of the household. And if there are any Aboriginal people in that area, the knowledge of the official languages, that is a lot of francophones speak English, and a lot of anglophones speak English. A lot of anglophones speak French. Visible minority status, that is a person in the census who identifies themselves as any one of these groups, so it's not necessarily the same as language. And citizenship, of course, you have people who are citizens, immigrants, immigrant status, non-immigrants. This area has 22% of people. What is the definition of an immigrant as far as the census goes? What is the definition of an immigrant? The plain and simple definition of an immigrant is somebody who was born in Canada, was not born in Canada, but now lives in Canada. So if you were born in Ogdensburg, New York, and you moved to Canada when you were 6 months old, you're an immigrant. You're living here the rest of your life. You're officially, according to this designation, an immigrant. So, immigrant status by population, okay, place of birth. So it is a very, very comprehensive, guide. Now, okay, so we have here. The coffee house is in the middle of the city of Ottawa. Census Plus. Create a dashboard. Now, back to here. Okay, so we talked about the different segments. And then there's also, which will help you in your analysis, if this makes it very, very simple for you, executive reporting. So we have here the trade area map. And there's a trade area map, okay? So that was under executive reporting, that was that was the trade area map. If you want an executive report for just the population in the households, you would choose this one here. Archery Club, City of Ottawa. And this is just a summary to, now what the red and the blue mean. What does the red mean? It means that the area that you've selected around the archery club, compared to the City of Ottawa, these are the indexes, okay? This is the total population of your trading area and the percentage of the population of the total population. And this is in comparison to the City of Ottawa. And what this shows is that it has a much higher, this is an index. So if they were the same, if they had the same percentage of people aged 5 to 9, the index would be 100. But here it's 119, which means that this area, the archery club, has 19% more 5 to 9-year-olds than like the City of Ottawa. Similarly, it has 22% more 10 to 14-year-olds and 11% more 15 to 19-year-olds. So you can see that it's probably more likely that there are families with children. And again, the age group, the other bulge here is 12% people 40 to 44, 13% more 45 to 49, and 10% more 50 to 54, which kind of corroborates this part. These are the people who are having who have had the children and now raising them. And the population group that's underrepresented in this category significantly is the 25 to 29-year-olds, because most, 25 to 29-year-olds usually want to live closer into the center of the city. And as well, you can see here also has a lower proportion, slightly lower proportions of older people. So, go to the PRISM top 5 segments. Okay, we want to do the Archery Club and the City of Ottawa. And these are the PRISM 5 segments. So let's call them the PRISM 5 segments. PRISM 5 segments. For those of you who are going into consumer marketing, this is going to be a invaluable tool, because they've taken the trouble to identify the Canadian population into something like 68 different segments of the population. And we don't want that. We want this one here only. Okay. So they're going to identify the top segments in our area of selection. So what this tells you, these are the top 5 segments in the population of this area, and it tells you what the top 5 segments that are the largest proportion of the households in that area. And so you have here one of the largest lifestyles in Canada. Pets and PCs is a haven for younger families with preschool children in the new suburbs surrounding a larger city. That sounds like what area we're talking about. So half of the children in the segment under age of 10. And it says here, the index 215. That means it has more than double the proportion of households in this area that are pets and PCs in this area than the city of Ottawa. Similarly, kids and careers, they are 15.81% of the households in this area versus 6.61%, which is the city of Ottawa. Management material, these are younger people who have opted for the suburban lifestyle. Satellite burbs, heritage hubs. Okay, so these are the dominant 5 segments of and this is key in your assignment and in the assignment today. What you want to do is you want to tell me the area that you've chosen, these segments, are they appropriate to the product that you're trying to sell, the store that you're trying to create? Are you, okay? All right, and then finally, there's this one here, the prism profile. And that shows you all the segments. So you have here, the Archery Club, Ottawa, City of Ottawa. Again, we're comparing with the City of Ottawa. And we have a dashboard. And we're creating a dashboard. Okay, what this one shows is the segments that they appear. See, remember we talked about pets and PCs? Well, they're here. The management material, they're here. And then there are other segments as well, even though they're smaller. They may be smaller, like Suburban Scramble is only 1.13% of the population. Heritage Hubs, 7.99. What do the colors mean? The colors, they're ranked in order of income as well. Okay, so your cosmopolitan elite, if you want to sell Rolls Royces or Mercedes-Benz or trips to Bali, summer vacations in Bali, you might want to consider the cosmopolitan elite wherever they are. They're not in this area. They're a very low percentage of those people in this area. More likely you would choose a place like Rockland Park. These colors indicate the different segments as well. So it just tells you which segment is more likely to be in this area versus the other ones. So that was executive reporting. And these are all the different reports that we've asked for. For instance, here is the one, this is the demographic report for the Archery Club. So here's our demographic report for the Archery Club. Remember, this is the map that shows the area, and the center of the area is right here, and this is the 20-minute drive time. Archery Club, segmentation. So we wanted to look at the segmentations. This report told us the 5 different segments that are in this Archery Club area. Then this one here, segmentation as well. Should give them different names. And then here are the prism profiles of the trading area. So now, okay, so that in a nutshell is what I want from you today. And I don't think it's very difficult. Does anybody have any questions? Are you ready to do this? Okay, and we have this database till April 26th. If anybody wanted to use this for your own business, be my guest. Okay. So, does anybody have any questions, or you want to just we'll just go to the assignment for today. Okay, so it's in week 13 assignment.
You posted it.
Sorry?
You did post it.
I did?
Yeah, I have it.
Well, why doesn't it appear here?
It's assignment April 9, that's how you posted it.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
go- If you go to the contents probably, it would show up. Because I have it.
It's
But
this
if
one.
you-
This one here?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I don't know why it didn't appear. Anyway, okay, so here are the different groups. Okay, so 705 Beaver Tail Road, there's the postal code. So when you don't have to look for it on the map. I've given you the address, the city, and the postal code. And when you're looking at people 45 and over, all I want you to do is tell me if this in this area, there are, in comparison with the rest of the city of Ottawa. You're always comparing with the city of Ottawa, people 45 and over, proportion household income 150,000 or more, area driving time. So it's 10 minutes by driving, rush hour 10 minutes. Group 2, a skateboard store. As a matter of fact, there is really a skateboard store at that location. Households with children, walking time, skateboarding time 10 minutes. Group 3, men's suits, happens Beechwood Avenue, happens to be right beside Rockcliffe Park. Men, household income 150,000 or more, radius of 2 kilometers. Group 4, a newspaper magazine store, 736 Bank Street, Ottawa. It's in the Glebe. Target market, who reads newspapers and magazines anymore? Only people over 50, right? But only people over 50 with university education. Average walking distance, 20 minutes. Group 5, maybe some of you who go to Carlton, you may know, surrounded by textbook stores, 1049 Bank Street. Target people aged 18 to 24, students, average walking distance 5 kilometers. A hardware store, 6001 Hazeldew Road. Target is people who live in single-family dwellings, homeowners, area driving time 10 minutes. And finally, the Garden Supply Nursery, 4590 Bank Street, Ottawa, Ontario. Target people who live in single-family dwellings, homeowners, driving time 10 minutes, rush hour. I don't know if you know the address, but this, from those of you who are from Ottawa, this is the location of Peter Knippel Nursery. So,
When it says rush hour, does that mean peak driving time?
yeah, okay. Yeah, when they ask for driving time, they give you a selection.
Yeah.
They give you rush hour, they give you.
There's no
There's no rush hour.
Pardon?
It's off peak, on peak, nighttime, daytime, and something.
Okay,
There's
peak.
no rush hour. So it's
Rush hour is peak,
Okay.
sorry. Okay, rush hour is peak. Okay? So, that's the assignment.